Welcome back to Teflonstoic's journey to 60 in hardcore WoW while we listen to Stoic philosophy. Welcome back. Alright, let's get started.
Marcus adopts it in a Stoic sense. External things are indifferent, and only our judgments about them, our opinions, can disturb the soul. Mastery lies in controlling our ascent. Sancatathesis, to impressions, fantasy. A timely end, Stoicism. Death for the Stoics is not an evil, but a natural end. Tell us of the chain of actions that constitute life. If life ends at the appropriate time, kairos, it causes no harm. This concept justifies voluntary death under certain conditions and harmonizes personal choice with providence.
Need to learn some new
What matters
quests.
is to live and
Moves
end
for
according
16.
to nature. 9. From the moment it
Go
is
through the
conceived.
Forlorn Cavern.
Stoicism. For the Stoics, the soul, psyche, begins to form when the newborn draws its first breath, taking in pneuma, the animating and rational substance. Before birth, life in the womb was seen as plant-like. Upon birth, the influx of air, pneuma, permeates the body, forming the command center, hegemonicon. Only humans develop a rational soul, logica psyche, capable of reason and moral agency. 10. Aerial and ethereal beings, Stoicism. The ether was the purest
do you need
element,
directions to?
occupying the upper heavens where stars, symbols of cosmic order, resided.
Which profession trainer would you be
Marcus may
looking for?
refer here to celestial
I
bodies.
believe
Enchanting
Gimbal
trainers right here.
Thistlefuzz is who you'll be needing if
But
you're
he may
looking
also
to learn
nod
the
to popular
Enchanter's
beliefs
profession.
about spirits or
You'll find
disembodied
Gimbal in
souls
his shop,
inhabiting the air.
Thistlefuzz Arcanery, right by
While
the Griffin
Stoicism
Master at
focused
the
on
Great
rational
Forge.
order, some Stoics accepted the
May the light
existence of
protect you
daemons,
this day.
intermediary beings between gods and humans.
Yes, right.
11.
Alright.
Fabius Catulinus, Lucius Lupus, Stertinius, Tiberius, Velius Rufus. Biography uncertain.
They get hit.
Tiberius
Perfect
refers
every
to the
time they
Roman
hit.
emperor, 14 to 37 CE. The other names are obscure or unidentified,
That's a good one,
likely
too.
cited as examples of forgotten fame or vanished ambition. 12. They are visible even to our eyes. Stoicism. For the Stoics, celestial bodies such as the sun, moon, and fixed stars were not mere objects, but divine entities, visible manifestations of logos and order in the cosmos. Reverence toward them stems from their regularity, brilliance, and essential role in sustaining life.
Go to the enchanting
Proofs not
trainer.
of mythology, but of rational divinity. 13. I constantly experience their power. Stoicism.
I can wear these
The
awesome
Stoic
pants
argument
now.
for the existence of the gods is based on observation of the
I don't
order
actually
and
want
purpose
this
in
pants.
nature.
The strength is
The
better for me
cosmos
than
appears
stamina.
rationally structured and suited to human life,
I'm gonna disenchant
suggesting a divine providence. Reverence arises not from myth, but from perceiving the active role of logos, the rational principle that sustains and organizes the universe. 14. Deep sense of kinship, Stoicism. The mind, new, naturally recognizes its affinity with other rational beings, humans and gods alike. According to Stoic cosmopolitanism, all rational creatures share in the logos and belong to the same universal community.
Did I go the wrong way?
Great city, polis of the cosmos, where kinship is rooted not in
I've gone the
blood,
wrong
but
way.
in reason and virtue.
To go the right.
15. Those who regard pleasure, philosophy, allusion to the Epicurean doctrine that pleasure is the highest good and pain the greatest evil. For Epicureans, the goal of life is ataraxia, a state of serene pleasure and freedom from distress. In contrast, Stoic philosophy teaches that only virtue is truly good, while
That's
pleasure
true.
and pain are indifferent in moral terms.
Pleasure and pain are indifferent.
The wise person seeks integrity, not
Virtue
comfort,
is the only
and
thing that
remains
really
unmoved
matters.
by either suffering or delight.
I've
16.
seen it. I've seen
In
people
accordance with the laws,
who are very
Stoicism,
sick but virtuous, be quite happy. I've seen people who are quite wealthy, having no virtue,
applying equally to all beings.
deeply disturbed.
Events such as death governed by this law,
Be
neither
virtuous.
good nor bad, but necessary
Yes, you
and
can.
impartial.
Would you like to
For the
purchase
Stoics,
something?
True justice lies in accepting the Logos governed order, where every outcome...
You have a great...
You're an inquisitive one, are ya? Excellent! Pay close attention. This just might save your skin when the going gets rough.
Drawn from Epictetus in Viridian, 17.
Off and away.
It illustrates the Stoic view of life as a performance directed by nature or fate, where one must leave the stage when called, without complaint. T. Depart in peace. Stoicism. Death is neither to be feared nor resisted, as it is part of the natural order governed by Logos. The universe, as the one who dismisses us, acts with calm necessity. The peaceful tone suggests ataraxia, tranquil acceptance, and may reflect Marcus's awareness of his approaching death. To die in harmony with nature is the Stoic ideal.
Hi, you're a tall one.
Marcus Aurelius
Very well,
is a
then.
practical model.
You're an inquisitive one, are ya? Excellent! Pay close attention. This just might save your skin when the going gets rough.
War, plague, and the immense pressures of the Roman Empire. His most enduring legacy for those seeking practical wisdom lies not in his imperial decrees, but in his private journal, the Meditations. This isn't a polished philosophical treatise argument for Stoicism. Rather, it's an intimate, often raw workbook of a man actively striving to apply Stoic principles amidst the relentless chaos of real life. It's a record of self-correction, pep talks, frustrations, and profound insights jotted down likely in the pre-dawn hours or during exhausting military campaigns. This inherent practicality, the visible effort, the constant return to core principles, the struggle against negative emotions and external pressures, makes Marcus Aurelius an unparalleled model for anyone seeking to bridge the gap between philosophical ideals and everyday action. Unlike abstract theories, the Meditations offer a relatable blueprint of how one might actually use philosophy to navigate adversity, manage their inner world, and live a more purposeful life. Because other parts of this book delve into the specifics of Marcus's life and Stoic doctrine, this chapter focuses directly on the actionable wisdom embedded within his reflections. We will explore a curated selection of his most potent maxims, treating them as practical tools for the modern reader interested in applied Stoicism and personal growth. It's worth noting that while every effort has been made to link these ideas to specific passages in the Meditations, using a standard reference format, some of the most resonant and widely shared phrasings presented here may be effective. Modern paraphrases or syntheses rather than strict word-for-word translations from the original Greek or classical editions. Our primary focus remains on the core Stoic principle, authentically rooted in Marcus's thought and its powerful application today. These are not mere historical curiosities. They are timeless strategies for resilience, clarity, and virtuous living. To make these teachings as accessible and useful as possible, the insights drawn from the Meditations will be grouped into 5 key areas of practical application: mastering your mindset, resilience in adversity, virtue in action, wisdom in relationships, and finding peace through acceptance and perspective. Each maxim will be presented with its core Stoic meaning and, crucially, its direct relevance and application to the challenges and opportunities of
I
contemporary
need to go there.
Prepare to engage with Marcus not just as an emperor,
Can do dry times.
but as a timeless guide for the practical art of living well. Mastering your mindset. Perhaps the cornerstone of Stoic practice, and vividly present throughout Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, is the mastery of one's own mind. The Stoics understood that while we cannot control external events, we hold absolute power over our interpretations, judgments, and responses. This section explores Marcus's key reminders to himself on shaping thoughts, seeing beyond mere appearances, and cultivating an unshakable inner citadel through the power of reason and perspective. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts.
Happiness of your life depends on the quality of your
words.
That's pretty wild.
In this quote, Marcus Aurelius encapsulates a fundamental principle of Stoicism. Our thoughts are the architects of our happiness. The Stoics believed that external events hold no power over our well-being. Instead, it is our interpretation and attitude toward these events that determine our state of mind. By cultivating rational, virtuous, and positive thoughts, we align
The
ourselves
Wildhammer
with nature's
dwarves
order,
might have fast
create a
steeds,
foundation for
but
a
can
content
those
and
airy
meaningful
peaked
life.
griffins stand the heat of the
This
Great
wisdom
Falls?
encourages us
I
to
think
focus
not.
on the aspects of
Well, they're
life we
right.
can control,
Keep your feet on
our inner dialogue, rather than becoming enslaved to external circumstances. Modern-day application. In our contemporary world, where stress, anxiety, and negativity can often dominate our thoughts, this quote reminds us of the power of mindfulness and mental discipline. Practices like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, echo this Stoic insight, teaching us to identify and challenge unhelpful thought patterns. By consciously nurturing thoughts of gratitude, acceptance, and purpose, for example, consciously shifting focus from a perceived failure to the lessons learned, we can enhance our emotional resilience. Tools like journaling, meditation, or practicing daily affirmations can help us refine the quality of our thoughts, steering us toward greater happiness and a life well lived. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. 8.49. The wisdom behind the words. This quote reflects Marcus Aurelius' understanding of perception and its limitations. He reminds us that human beings interpret the world subjectively, through the lens of personal experience, biases, and emotions. What we often consider as objective truth is merely a perspective, shaped by incomplete information and individual viewpoints. This wisdom aligns with the Stoic aim to seek clarity and detach from knee-jerk reactions to external stimuli. Recognizing the subjectivity in our observations and judgments allows us to approach life with humility, open-mindedness, and rationality. Modern-day application. In an age of information overload and widespread misinformation, this teaching is especially relevant. Social media, news outlets, and personal conversations often blur the line between opinion and fact. Practicing critical thinking, questioning sources, seeking diverse perspectives, and verifying information can help us discern truth more effectively. Additionally, this quote encourages empathy. Understanding that others' views stem from their unique experiences fosters better communication and mutual respect. By embracing this Stoic insight, we learn to navigate complex social landscapes with wisdom and poise. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. 8.32. The wisdom behind the words. This quote encapsulates a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, the distinction between what is within our control and what lies beyond it. Marcus Aurelius highlights that true strength and resilience come from mastering our inner world, our thoughts, attitudes, and choices, rather than attempting to control the unpredictable external world. By focusing on our mental and emotional responses, we liberate ourselves from unnecessary suffering caused by external events, which are often beyond our influence. Modern-day application. In today's fast-paced and often chaotic world, this teaching serves as a powerful reminder to focus on what we can control, our reactions, decisions, and mindset. For example, when faced with unexpected challenges, instead of fixating on the problem itself, we can channel our energy into adapting and responding constructively. Practices such as mindfulness, emotional regulation, and journaling align with this Stoic principle, helping us build resilience and maintain a sense of inner peace. By internalizing this wisdom, we can navigate life's uncertainties with confidence and strength, knowing that our mind remains our greatest source of power. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. 5.16.
The soul becomes dyed
The
with the
wisdom
color of
behind
its
the
thoughts.
words.
That's pretty
This
good.
quote emphasizes the profound connection between our thoughts and our character.
That's pretty
Marcus
good.
Aurelius suggests that the nature of our inner dialogue shapes who we are and how we experience the world. If we cultivate thoughts that are virtuous, rational, and constructive, our soul reflects these qualities, becoming a source of strength and harmony. Conversely, allowing negative or irrational thoughts to dominate can tarnish our inner self. This teaching underscores the Stoic belief in the importance of self-awareness and mental discipline. Modern day application. In our daily lives, this quote reminds us of the power of mindset in shaping our identity and well-being. Practices like mindfulness, positive affirmations, and gratitude journaling help us foster thoughts that uplift and empower us. It also aligns with psychological concepts such as neuroplasticity, which shows that our brain adapts and strengthens based on repeated patterns of thinking.
Neuroplasticity.
By being mindful
Fancy
of our
term
thoughts
for
and
humans
actively
who
steering them
change
toward
their
positivity and
ways.
virtue, we can dye our soul with qualities that promote resilience, contentment, and personal growth. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. 7.67. The wisdom behind the words. This quote highlights a central Stoic belief. Happiness is not dependent on external possessions or circumstances, but on our inner perspective. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that contentment is found by mastering our thoughts and aligning them with virtue and reason. By simplifying our desires and focusing on what truly matters, integrity, wisdom, and gratitude, we discover that happiness is accessible regardless of our external situation.
Those are too high for me at the moment.
Modern day application. In an age of materialism and constant comparison, this teaching is a powerful antidote. It encourages us to focus on cultivating a positive and resilient mindset,
careful.
rather than seeking fulfillment in external achievements or possessions.
It's more my speed.
Practices like minimalism, mindfulness, and gratitude exercises align with this wisdom, helping us to appreciate the abundance we already have.
Going to Westfall.
By shifting our focus inward and simplifying our desires, we can lead a more peaceful and joyful life, free from the pressures of external validation.
Something odd is afoot with the storm.
Choose not to be harmed,
They should have
and you
been here in
won't feel
force by
harmed.
now. Time
Don't
is a
feel
luxury
harmed
we don't
when you
have,
haven't been.
however. I will not stand by
4.7.
and watch the people of Lakeshire give
Wisdom
their
behind
lives.
the words. This quote underscores the Stoic belief that our perception determines our experience of harm, particularly concerning insults, slights, or misfortunes that don't cause direct physical injury or violate core duties. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that external events do not inherently harm our inner self or core character. It is our interpretation and judgment of them that causes emotional pain or offense. By choosing not to take offense or view ourselves as victims of circumstance, we maintain control over our inner peace and resilience. This teaching reflects the Stoic emphasis on personal responsibility for our emotional responses.
How are you?
Modern day application. In modern life, where conflicts, criticisms, and misunderstandings are common, this wisdom teaches us to focus on how we choose to respond rather than solely on what others say or do. Techniques like emotional detachment and cognitive reframing help us view situations from a more neutral perspective, reducing feelings of hurt or offense. For example, when faced with criticism, consciously deciding to evaluate its validity objectively, rather than taking it personally as an attack, can prevent unnecessary distress. While this doesn't negate real physical pain or the grief from significant loss, it's a powerful tool for managing perceived injuries to our ego or expectations. By exercising this mental discipline, we strengthen our emotional resilience and maintain a sense of calm in the face of everyday adversity. It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them. 5.22. The wisdom behind the words. This quote reflects one of the core principles of Stoicism. External events are neutral, and it is our interpretation of them that creates emotional distress. Marcus Aurelius teaches that by changing our perspective or judgment about a situation, we can transform our emotional response.
Safe travel.
This principle emphasizes the power of perception and the importance of mastering our inner world to maintain peace and resilience. Modern day application. In modern life, this wisdom can help us manage stress and conflicts more effectively. Techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, are built on this principle, encouraging us to identify and challenge negative thought patterns. For instance, instead of viewing a failure as a catastrophe, reframing it as a learning opportunity reduces distress and promotes growth. By consciously choosing our judgments, we can face challenges with greater clarity and maintain emotional balance, no matter the circumstances. You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. 6.52. The wisdom behind the words. Marcus Aurelius advises us to exercise restraint in forming or expressing opinions, especially about matters beyond our control.
Forming
The
or
Stoics
expressing
believe that
opinions
unnecessary
about
judgments and
matters
emotional reactions
outside of our
disrupt our inner
control.
peace.
That's good advice.
By choosing not to have an opinion on trivial or uncontrollable issues, we conserve mental energy and maintain clarity of thought. Modern day application. In an age of constant information and opinions, this wisdom is particularly relevant. Choosing not to engage with every debate or controversy, especially those outside our influence, fosters mental well-being. Practices like mindful detachment and focusing on what truly matters can help us prioritize our energy. For instance, avoiding social media arguments or refraining from overanalyzing a colleague's behavior can reduce stress and preserve peace of mind. By consciously selecting when and where to form opinions, we take control of our emotional responses and live more intentionally. 2. Resilience in adversity. Life inevitably presents challenges, setbacks, and emotional turbulence. Marcus
Like in
Aurelius,
Westfall.
facing war, plague, and personal loss, relentlessly practiced turning adversity into an opportunity for virtue. This section gathers his insights on transforming obstacles, managing destructive emotions like anger, cultivating unwavering perseverance, and drawing strength from our inner resources when faced with hardship. It's a practical guide to developing the resilience needed to weather life's storms. The impediment to action advances action.
I wonder what Wiley meant when he
What
mentioned
stands in the way becomes the way.
Perhaps that was a slip of tongue.
5.20.
The Defias gang
The wisdom
be
behind the
related to
words.
stonemasons?
This quote
Only
is a
one man
cornerstone
would know
of
for
Stoic
sure.
resilience,
Matthias Shaw,
emphasizing
head
the
of
power of
SI7.
obstacles to
Show
foster
him
growth.
Wiley's note and see if he has anything to add to
Marcus
this growing
Aurelius
mystery.
teaches that
If you have
challenges
trouble
are not
finding
barriers
Shaw,
to
check the
success,
barracks in Old
but
Town.
opportunities for
Good
development and
messenger, you have
progress.
served your master well.
The idea is that the very
Magistrate
difficulties we
Solomon's note
encounter
pains me
contain
to
the
read.
seeds of their resolution, forcing us to adapt, think creatively, and grow stronger. By viewing obstacles as catalysts rather than setbacks, we align with nature's order, transforming adversity into an
Let's go
integral
kill
part of our
some.
journey. Modern day
Defias.
application. In today's fast-paced world, this philosophy is invaluable for overcoming challenges, whether personal or professional. For instance, when facing a setback, such as a failed project or unexpected hardship, adopting this mindset encourages us to see these moments as opportunities for learning and improvement. Techniques like reframing problems, goal setting, and perseverance resonate with this teaching. Popular modern frameworks, such as The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, draw directly from this idea, showing how embracing challenges can lead to innovation, resilience, and ultimate success. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? 11.18. The wisdom behind the words. In this quote, Marcus Aurelius highlights the destructive nature of anger. While the initial cause of anger may be trivial or fleeting, the damage it inflicts on ourselves, our relationships, and our peace of mind can be far greater.
We got a friend up
The
there.
Stoics viewed anger as a loss of rational control, urging us to approach challenges with calm and reason rather than emotional reactivity. This teaching encourages self-mastery and the pursuit of harmony over conflict. Modern-day application. In today's world where frustration and stress often lead to anger, this quote serves as a reminder to pause and reflect before reacting. Practices like deep breathing, mindfulness, and cognitive reframing can help us manage anger constructively. For instance, when faced with provocation, focusing on long-term consequences rather than short-term emotions can prevent unnecessary harm. By addressing the root of the issue calmly and thoughtfully, we preserve our well-being and foster more positive interactions. Be like the rocky headland on which the waves constantly break. It stands firm, and around it the seething waters are laid to rest. 4.49. The wisdom behind the words. This quote symbolizes resilience and strength in the face of life's adversities. Marcus Aurelius compares a virtuous person to a steadfast rock that remains unmoved by crashing waves. The waves represent external challenges and difficulties, while the rock embodies inner stability and self-mastery. This Stoic teaching emphasizes the importance of maintaining composure and integrity regardless of external circumstances, allowing chaos to dissipate around us without affecting our core.
People's
Modern-day
militia.
application. In today's fast-paced and unpredictable world, this metaphor serves as a reminder to cultivate emotional resilience and mental fortitude. Techniques like mindfulness, stress management, and emotional regulation help us remain calm under pressure. For instance, when faced with criticism or unexpected challenges, focusing on our values and goals allows us to weather the storm without losing our sense of purpose. By embodying the qualities of the rocky headland, we can navigate life's turbulence with grace and unwavering strength. The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. 7.61.
They're a self-fun person. We'll let
The
them
wisdom
take the
behind the
chest.
words. Marcus Aurelius uses this metaphor to convey that life is full of challenges requiring strength, resilience, and adaptability. Wrestling symbolizes the struggle against difficulties and the need to engage with life actively, while dancing implies a carefree, passive existence. The Stoic approach to life acknowledges that obstacles are inevitable, but they can be overcome through preparation, discipline, and determination. Modern day application. In today's world, this teaching reminds us to embrace life's challenges as opportunities for growth. Developing skills like problem solving, emotional resilience, and mental toughness helps us navigate the unpredictability of life. For example, when facing a difficult situation, approaching it with a mindset of engagement and adaptability rather than avoidance allows us to emerge stronger. This perspective encourages us to see struggles not as deterrents, but as an integral part of living a purposeful and fulfilling life. If it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. 8.46. The wisdom behind the words. Marcus Aurelius delivers a straightforward Stoic principle. If a situation can be endured, face it with resilience and without complaint. Complaining achieves nothing and only drains energy that could be used to address the challenge. The Stoics believed in focusing on what can be controlled, our attitude and response, while accepting what cannot be changed with dignity. This doesn't imply passive acceptance of injustice, but rather facing unavoidable hardships or difficulties with fortitude. Modern day application. In modern life, this teaching is a reminder to adopt a proactive and solution-oriented mindset toward difficulties that are simply part of life or cannot be immediately altered. Complaining often exacerbates stress without offering a resolution. Instead, techniques like problem solving, emotional regulation, and mindfulness can help us endure difficulties constructively. For instance, facing a long commute or a tedious task can be reframed as an opportunity for reflection or growth. By accepting what is endurable and approaching it with a calm and steady attitude, we cultivate resilience and conserve energy for meaningful actions. Don't be overheard complaining, not even to yourself. 8.9. The wisdom behind the words. This quote reinforces the Stoic ideal of maintaining composure and self-mastery, even in our private thoughts. Marcus Aurelius suggests that complaining, whether aloud or internally, diminishes our strength and distracts us from taking meaningful action. By avoiding self-pity and negativity, we preserve our energy and focus on what we can control, fostering resilience and dignity. Modern day application. In a world where venting frustrations is common, this teaching encourages us to practice mindful communication and self-discipline. Techniques like positive reframing and gratitude exercises can help shift our focus from complaints to constructive thoughts. For instance, rather than dwelling on a minor inconvenience, we can view it as an opportunity to practice patience or adaptability. By consciously avoiding complaints even in private, we cultivate a stronger, more positive mindset that benefits both ourselves and those around us. Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig. 7.59. The wisdom behind the words. This quote emphasizes the Stoic principle that true goodness and fulfillment, including the strength to endure adversity, come from within. Marcus Aurelius teaches that we possess an internal source of virtue, wisdom, and strength that can sustain us through any external challenge. By turning inward and cultivating self-awareness, we access the fountain of good, our innate capacity for reason, resilience, and moral integrity. The metaphor of digging suggests that consistent effort and introspection are necessary to uncover and nurture these inner resources. Modern-day application. In a world that often emphasizes external achievements and material success, this wisdom reminds us to prioritize inner development as the ultimate source of resilience. Practices like self-reflection, journaling, and meditation help us connect with our deeper selves and cultivate qualities such as compassion, patience, and clarity. For example, when faced with external stress or conflict, turning inward allows us to tap into this inner strength and respond from a place of calm and stability. By consistently digging into our inner reserves, we can navigate life's challenges with grace and authenticity. 3. Virtue in action. Stoicism is not a passive philosophy. It demands action aligned with virtue and reason. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of his duty to act for the common good, to live purposefully, and to focus his energy on the present moment, the only time where action is possible. This section delves into his calls to live intentionally, to embody goodness rather than just discussing it, and to approach every task, no matter how small, with integrity and commitment. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. 12.1. The wisdom behind the words. In this, quote, Marcus Aurelius challenges us to reconsider our fear of death and instead focus on the true tragedy, failing to live a meaningful life. For the Stoics, life's brevity was not something to fear, but to use as a motivator for action and purpose. Aurelius reminds us that life's value lies in how we choose to live it, not in its duration. Fearing death is futile, as it is a natural part of existence. The real fear should be a wasted life, devoid of intention, virtue, or fulfillment. Modern-day application. In the modern world where distractions and routines often overshadow purpose, this quote is a call to live with intention. It encourages us to seize opportunities, embrace meaningful experiences, and focus on what truly matters: relationships, personal growth, and contributing to the greater good. This mindset aligns with the concept of mindful living, where each day is approached with gratitude and presence. Instead of being paralyzed by fear of the unknown, we can focus on living authentically and fully, turning every moment into an opportunity to truly live. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. 10.16. The wisdom behind the words. This quote distills the essence of Stoic philosophy. Focus on action rather than endless debate. Marcus Aurelius admonishes us not to get caught up in theoretical discussions about virtue or morality, but to embody these principles through our actions. The Stoics believed that living virtuously, practicing justice, courage, temperance, and wisdom was the ultimate goal of life. Rather than defining what it means to be good, Aurelius challenges us to actively live in alignment with those values. Modern-day application. In today's world, where discussions about ethics and morality often take center stage in politics, social media, and personal relationships, this quote serves as a call to action. Instead of merely discussing what is right, we should demonstrate it through our behavior, whether by showing kindness, standing up for others, or maintaining integrity in challenging situations. This idea is particularly relevant in leadership, where leading by example inspires others far more than rhetoric. By focusing on being rather than debating, we contribute to a better world, starting with ourselves. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. 12.17. The wisdom behind the words. This quote exemplifies the Stoic commitment to ethical integrity and truth. Marcus Aurelius provides a simple yet powerful guideline for living virtuously. Align your actions with what is morally right and ensure your words reflect honesty. By By adhering to this principle, we maintain harmony with ourselves and the greater order of nature. It's a reminder that virtue lies not in grand gestures, but in everyday choices to act justly and speak truthfully. Modern-day application. In a world where misinformation and ethical shortcuts are common, this teaching offers a timeless compass for navigating life. It encourages us to evaluate our decisions and words critically, ensuring they align with our values. For instance, before acting or speaking, we can ask ourselves, is this aligned with my principles? Does it contribute to the greater good? This mindset fosters trust and respect in personal and professional relationships. Tools like ethical decision-making frameworks and active listening can help us consistently live by this principle, promoting authenticity and moral clarity in our actions. What we do now echoes in eternity. 8.58. The wisdom behind the words. This quote emphasizes the lasting impact of our actions, even beyond our lifetime. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the choices we make in the present ripple outward, shaping not only our lives, but also the world around us. For the Stoics, living virtuously and with intention ensures that our legacy reflects wisdom, integrity, and contribution to the greater good. It's a call to mindfulness in action, urging us to consider the broader consequences of what we do today. Modern day application. In the modern world, this teaching is a reminder of the importance of living with purpose and responsibility. Whether in personal relationships, career decisions, or social contributions, our actions have the power to inspire and influence others. This idea resonates strongly in environmental and social justice efforts, where small, thoughtful actions today can lead to meaningful change over time. By aligning our actions with long-term values and goals, we can create a positive legacy that echoes far into the future. Confine yourself to the present. 8.36. The wisdom behind the words. This quote embodies the Stoic focus on living in the moment and dealing only with what is directly in front of us. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the past is unchangeable and the future uncertain. Therefore, the present is where our power and responsibility lie. By focusing our energy on the present moment, we avoid the distractions of regret and anxiety, allowing us to act with clarity and purpose. Modern day application. In a world filled with distractions and constant demands on our attention, this teaching encourages us to practice mindfulness, bringing our awareness to the here and now. Techniques like mindful breathing, meditation, or single tasking can help us fully engage with the present. Additionally, this principle can be applied to decision-making and problem-solving, where staying focused on immediate priorities lead to more effective outcomes. By embracing the present, we reduce stress and cultivate a sense of calm and control in our lives. Do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. 2.5. The wisdom behind the words. Marcus Aurelius calls for intentionally and mindfulness in all our actions, urging us to approach each moment as if it were our last opportunity to act with virtue and purpose. This Stoic teaching reflects the fragility of life and the importance of living in alignment with our values. By treating each act as significant, we cultivate a sense of presence and responsibility, avoiding procrastination or mediocrity. Modern-day application. In the modern world, this principle can guide us to live more purposefully. It encourages us to prioritize what truly matters, whether nurturing relationships, pursuing meaningful goals, or contributing to the well-being of others. Practices like daily goal setting and reflection can help us align our actions with our values. For example, before engaging in any task or interaction, asking, "Am I giving this my best effort?" fosters a mindset of excellence and fulfillment. By embracing this perspective, we ensure that our time and energy are spent intentionally, leaving no room for regret. A person's worth is measured by the worth of what they value. 4.3. The wisdom behind the words. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that our true value is reflected in what we prioritize and cherish. The Stoics believed that living a virtuous life meant valuing wisdom, integrity, and the greater good over fleeting pleasures or material possessions. By aligning our values with higher principles, we elevate our character and live a life of purpose. Modern-day application. In today's world, where societal norms often equate worth with wealth or status, this quote encourages us to reflect on what truly matters. Practices like value clarification and intentional living help us assess whether our actions align with our deeper principles. For instance, choosing to invest time in meaningful relationships or personal growth over superficial pursuits enhances our sense of fulfillment. By focusing on values that promote well-being and virtue, we cultivate a life of lasting worth. 4. Wisdom in relationships. As a social species, and for Marcus as an emperor, navigating interactions with others is central to life. Stoicism offers profound guidance on dealing with difficult people, fostering empathy, acting for the common good, and choosing virtue over retaliation. This section collects Marcus's reflections on how to approach relationships with wisdom, patience, and a focus on our shared humanity, even when faced with others' flaws or injustice. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice. 6.6.
Well, I just got a much
The
better
wisdom behind the
hammer.
words. This quote reflects Marcus Aurelius' commitment to virtue and self-mastery, even in the face of wrongdoing. Rather than seeking revenge or stooping to the level of those who harm us, the Stoic approach is to rise above and act with
I
integrity.
don't see it.
Aurelius teaches that our response to injustice should be guided by our values, not by the actions of others. By refusing to mirror harmful behavior, we maintain our moral character and inner peace. Modern day application. In a world where conflicts and grievances are common, this wisdom encourages us to avoid retaliation and focus on personal growth instead. When faced with injustice, practicing emotional regulation and forgiveness can help us maintain composure and dignity. For example, choosing kindness or empathy in response to rudeness disarms negativity and sets a positive example. This principle is also relevant in leadership and interpersonal relationships, where acting virtuously in difficult situations builds trust, respect, and lasting influence. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. 5.33. The wisdom behind the words. Marcus Aurelius emphasizes the Stoic commitment to self-discipline while extending understanding and patience to others. He encourages us to focus on improving ourselves rather than judging others, recognizing that people act based on their understanding and circumstances. By being strict with our own actions and lenient toward others, we cultivate both personal virtue and harmonious relationships. Modern-day application. This teaching is especially relevant in today's interconnected and diverse world. Practicing self-accountability while showing empathy for others helps us navigate relationships with grace and fairness. For example, when someone makes a mistake, approaching them with kindness rather than criticism fosters trust and cooperation. Meanwhile, holding ourselves to high ethical and behavioral standards enhances personal growth and integrity. By balancing self-discipline with tolerance, we create a positive impact on both our inner lives and the people around us. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. 5.8. The wisdom behind the words.
Light be with you.
While the first part of
Good
this
work,
quote
friend.
speaks to the
You
broader
have
Stoic
earned your pay well.
acceptance of fate,
Who knows, perhaps
amor
Westfall
fati,
will prosper
the
once again.
second part directs this acceptance specifically towards our relationships. Marcus reminds us that the people in our lives, family, colleagues, neighbors, are in a sense assigned to us by the natural unfolding of events. Rather than resisting these connections or wishing for different companions, Stoic wisdom encourages us to embrace them fully and invest in them wholeheartedly. It calls for genuine affection, commitment, and dedication to the people who share our journey, recognizing them as integral parts of our destined path and opportunities to practice social virtue. Modern-day application. In a world where relationships can feel transient or subject to constant comparison, this teaching invites deeper commitment and appreciation for the people already in our lives. It encourages us to move beyond superficial interactions and invest genuine care and effort, even in relationships that might be challenging. This mindset fosters stronger bonds, reduces resentment stemming from unmet expectations, and promotes a sense of gratitude for the human connections we have. Practices like active listening, expressing appreciation regularly, and prioritizing quality time align with this call to love our given companions with all your heart. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. 2.1. The wisdom behind the words.
Well done, adventurer.
This famous morning meditation is not an expression of cynicism, but a powerful exercise in Stoic foresight, premeditatio malorum, applied to social interactions. By mentally preparing for the potential flaws and difficult behaviors of others, Marcus aimed to reduce surprise and emotional disturbance when encountering them. Crucially, he follows this by reminding himself that these people act out of ignorance of true good and evil, that they are fundamentally similar to him, sharing in reason, that they are his natural kin, part of the same human family. This understanding prevents contempt and fosters a readiness for patience and cooperation. Modern day application. This practice remains incredibly relevant for navigating complex social environments today, starting the day by acknowledging the possibility of encountering difficult behaviors, whether from colleagues, family members, or strangers online, can significantly decrease frustration and anger. It sets realistic expectations and primes us to respond with rationality and empathy, rather than taking things personally. It encourages us to remember the shared humanity behind irritating actions and focus on our own virtuous response, maintaining inner peace regardless of others' conduct. What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bee. 6.54. The wisdom behind the words. This concise metaphor encapsulates the Stoic principle of the common good and the interconnectedness of all rational beings, cosmopolitanism. Marcus emphasizes that individual well-being is intrinsically linked to the health and flourishing of the community, the beehive. Actions driven solely by narrow self-interest ultimately harm the individual, the bee, if they damage the larger whole upon which the individual depends. True rationality for a Stoic involves recognizing this interdependence and acting in ways that benefit the community. Modern day application. This teaching offers a vital perspective in today's world, countering excessive individualism. It applies broadly. In business ethics, prioritizing stakeholder well-being over pure profit, civic responsibility, participating in democracy, volunteering, environmental consciousness, recognizing that planetary health affects everyone, and even family dynamics, making decisions that benefit the whole unit. It encourages us to ask, how does my action impact the larger systems I'm part of? Fostering a sense of shared responsibility and promoting cooperation for collective benefit. Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question. What fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize? 10.30. The wisdom behind the words. This is a practical
Welcome to Stormwind.
exercise designed to cultivate humility, empathy, and self-awareness before judging others. By turning the critical lens inward first, Marcus encourages us to recognize our own imperfections and shared human
I like this
fallibility.
hammer. It's a good hammer.
Acknowledging our own similar flaws makes us less inclined to harsh judgment and more disposed to understanding and tolerance. It's a direct antidote to hypocrisy and a pathway to more compassionate interaction. Modern day application. This is a powerful tool for improving interpersonal relationships and communication. Before criticizing a colleague, partner, or friend, pausing to perform this self-check can transform the interaction. It might lead to offering constructive feedback instead of blame, fostering dialogue instead of conflict, or simply choosing silence and understanding. It's also a valuable practice for personal growth, continually highlighting areas where we ourselves need improvement, thereby enhancing self-awareness and promoting genuine empathy. 5. Finding peace, acceptance, and perspective. Ultimately,
Peace,
much of Stoic
acceptance,
practice
and
aims at achieving
perspective.
inner peace, apatheia, or tranquility, amidst the unpredictable nature of existence. Marcus Aurelius frequently sought solace by cultivating acceptance of what cannot be changed, appreciating the present moment, recognizing life's impermanence, and adopting a broader cosmic perspective. This final section
Welcome to
explores his
SI.
wisdom on
7
embracing
headquarters,
fate,
adventurer.
finding joy
This
in
matter
simple
might be more
gratitude,
complex than
contemplating
some
mortality
realize.
constructively,
Big jump.
Stone
and
masons
connecting with the
were built
vastness
by a
of the
man named
universe
Edwin
to
Van
find
Cleef.
calm and
Van
meaning.
Cleef was responsible for rebuilding
Do not
Stormwind.
despise death, but be well content with it, since this too is one of those things which nature wills. 9.3 The wisdom behind the words. Marcus Aurelius directly confronts the common fear of death, advising not just acceptance, but contentment, eudokasis, with this natural process. For the Stoics, death is not an evil, but a neutral event, part of the inescapable cycle of change ordained
Oh,
by
we've
nature,
done enough today.
or the logos. Despising it is irrational, like despising the falling of leaves.
Thank you, everyone, for enjoying, I guess, episode 13. Defias Pillagers and Harvest Watchers. I hope you all have a good day, and I hope you learned something about Stoicism and Roman virtue. I'll catch you guys later.